I'm gonna get it right one day. For your voicemail, it goes something like this. What's going on, everyone? Thanks for locking into another episode of I'll Piss You Off Shortly. This is the podcast where we debate everyday issues, pushing your thought process beyond what's normal. The topics discussed here are meant to be intense, promote growth, and at times may have you feeling a little bit uncomfortable. Me too, a little bit. We may not always agree, and we will more than likely have varied opinions. But with that being said, I can't promise to be your favorite podcaster. Neither do I want to. But I can promise to be transparent, fair, and open-minded. So please, if you think you've got the stamina, passion to debate, analyze, and challenge the normal, please take a number. I promise you, I'll piss you off shortly. Hey, mama, I got a podcast. Hey, I got a podcast. Hey, I got a podcast.
Bravo, Wags. Click.
As the epitaph shall read.
I thought this was a vanity play, but more a matter of legacy.
Some people front load, establish their legacy early in life. I've left mine to the end. Or hopefully it's only the middle. Who knows?
Heidecker knows. Fuck. 33. Too soon.
No, dying in your 30s is tragic, as is 40s. Sympathy dissipates from there. 50s is such a shame. 60s is too soon.
70s, a good run.
And 80s is a life well lived. 90s?
That's a fucking hell of a ride.
A fucking hell of a ride, Joe. A fucking hell of a ride.
I like that.
I love this fucking show, man.
Don't get
Fucking
too
Billions
comfortable.
is this shit. Fucking Axe and Wags. That's probably like the best. A hell of a ride. We can cut it. That a hell of a fucking ride. Fucking everybody that doesn't know, that was a clip from the show Billions. I love Billions. Billions is like one of the best, one of the best financial, like if you're into like stock market and like trading and all that, or like VCs and stuff like that, like definitely like in business and like even like law, like learning more about like the justice system and everything. Billions is that show. But that clip was actually from an episode in Billions, and it resonated with me for a while. Axe and Wags, they are pretty much like the best duo in the financial world in the show, right? And they're just talking about in this scene, Wags actually he did some sly shit to actually get a burial plot for himself. And they were just talking about, living your 30s, the differences. And when you get up there, it starts, it's so short, if somebody dies so soon, and then by the time they're in their 70s or their 80s, everybody's opinion kind of looks, outlook on different. And it made me start to think about like what my legacy is, and then also what our legacy is, in personal lives, in the podcast world, media life, just all around, right? Because I know one of the thoughts that I have a lot is when I go, what am I leaving behind? And not necessarily like monetary or whatever, but like I'm gonna be interested in, like, of course I have an idea that I won't know, but to see who's actually like impacted, or like whose lives I've impacted, in that sense that, it affects them in a certain way. And I don't know if it sounds like egotistical or whatever, but it's just those things that I wonder. And then also like those that, say that they're going to be, that they claim that they have love for you or care about you, like just those feelings. Right. I don't know. It just had me thinking. And then also like, if I go anytime soon, do I feel if I've, lived a good life? And shit like that. But yeah, what are your kind of thoughts on life and having a good ride, and if you're going to live the good ride, or what the good ride entails for you, Joe?
I always assumed I would be shot and hail gunfire.
What?
I don't know why. I've just always assumed that my end will be in a hail of gunfire.
Okay.
I don't know why that is, but that's just always what I've thought. I've also planned out my funeral,
Mhm.
including music,
Yep.
video,
You
and
said
a special guest appearance by
yours
me.
truly.
Oh yeah. It'll be an event. But yeah, listen, we were just talking about religion on Divided We Stand.
Mhm.
And I think that a big part of religion is the fear of death. That
Okay.
this is people are hoping in some way to escape the end.
Gotcha.
That you're not going to die, Rob, because you're going to go up to heaven
And
and you're
enjoy
going
a
to
whole nother
see
life up there.
your
The
nana's
afterlife.
up there and your pappy and your dog Rufus, and
Mhm.
you're all going to get together, and there's like a big party, and there's pudding everywhere.
A sense of
right?
ease, or easing that
Oh,
mentality of
yeah. And it's you and God and your family and your friends forever in the clouds, and it makes everybody feel so good. And then when somebody dies, they're like, Rob, your friend's in a better place. And you're like, go fuck yourself. A
Well, yeah,
better place. A
like,
better place would be with me.
but even then, like, how do you know? Who's been to this better place to know?
Right.
And honestly, in my opinion, right? And I know this sounds so bad, but I'm sorry. If we're supposed to be getting to the gates and like fucking Jesus or God is supposed to be checking us at the door, you know how long it takes for me to get, how long it took me to get unemployment when I needed unemployment? So imagine how long that gate is, because God isn't supposed to be just serving the United States. God's serving everybody in the world. So even when you get to the pearly gates, it's probably like a 5-year wait. So what are you doing for 5 years in line to have your one-on-one with God? I'm just saying.
I hate
I
to
don't get it.
burst people's bubbles here, but I will point out that Jesus nor the Bible had any idea that North and South America were even on the planet.
And then, well, I guess as a side point, when you bring up Jesus, every time somebody brings up Jesus, it brings me to the point of, don't you love how like they've melanated Jesus throughout the years? So like Jesus went from like super Nordic white to like now he's like Middle Eastern a little bit hue, and like that's the Christian Jesus now. Like, come on, make up your minds. Like, please tell us where you know what I'm saying? Like, I need you guys to actually make up your minds finally with who Jesus is and what he looks like.
So
Let's see.
funny story. Just I don't want to. I hate to go down this path, but
Let's do it. I'm with the shits today, Joe.
I've told
with
you
the
the
shits.
story that the picture of Jesus that most people know, the white guy with the beard, he that's obviously not based on the real Jesus. The real Jesus would have been a really dark-skinned person, right?
Mhm.
That just makes sense. So basically, when Christians realized that Jesus kind of black, or at the very least very dark-skinned Arab, they didn't love that. And so there was a pope, and this pope had a bastard son. And I wished I was making this up. But they literally took this dude's picture. He was a good-looking dude, and that's the guy that they used.
Well, I mean, hey, I guess if that's what they consider good looking, I guess, whatever. Jesus is their savior.
He was hot at the time. That was really was
whatever.
the look at the time. It was very very 5th century.
I mean, to be very progressive, and not to say that I'm looking at dudes, but there's a lot more hotter dudes that I'm pretty sure were alive that could have represented the Christian Jesus. But a solid
Caesar Borgia is his name.
Caesar. Okay.
He was the son of Pope Alexander VI.
So that's their Jesus, is Caesar.
That's exactly who it is. And
all right, case off. Perfect.
Just it was let's make up let's give you a white Jesus. And thank goodness, because Megyn Kelly had a whole career based off of that.
Huh, okay. Well, I'm sure her legacy is solid, and Jesus's legacy is solid. Those are things are implemented in society. When people say they found Jesus, Frank says, "What's up, Frank?" Frank says, "When people say they found Jesus, I just respond with saying I never knew he got lost." There you go. But back to legacy though. Or how's your ride so far? Pretty much, right? That was kind of the topic for this, right? The title for this topic. How was your ride so far? I think my ride's been pretty well. Pretty well. And now that I actually kind of look at myself, I got a ride shirt on. That's a nice coincidence.
I love that.
I got this during a class, doing a sales class when I worked at a certain organization that I won't name. But anyways, your legacy, like I saw somebody in the comments saying, your the desire for a legacy. Thank you, Jeremy, for putting this in. The desire for a legacy is natural. That's interesting. That's interesting because like, and it's so true, right? A lot of people want their legacy to continue, but how far does a true legacy like live on? You know what I'm saying? Like how long before people just stop caring about you, right? And I think about that. You figure out all the people, less than 1% of the people go to live on forever. You know what I'm saying? As far as like their legacy and their history. So like, are we really living? What are we living for in that sense? Like, are we living like a lot of people? Are they living to live a good life, or are they living literally to have their legacy live on? And what does your legacy literally mean? Like, honestly, and please in the comments, like what, and be honest, like outside of maybe your great grandparents, how far in your legacy can you really go back? And outside of that, how much does that really matter? Now, maybe to those that actually have a lot of money and shit like that, that have that generational wealth, it might matter. But even then, like, that's my great grandfather, whatever, Bobo. Okay, you know what I mean? You're just a picture on the wall. So like, really, what does your legacy mean? So like, I guess I feel like me doing more now and not worrying about exactly what my legacy means to everybody else in the world, and just know that like putting my energy into those that I know really care and really, that really take value into me and my time and shit like that. So like, it was just very interesting. And then especially if you guys watch Billions, you guys kind of see how like important that scene was. Just, because especially in that show, Axe and Wags, they both are fighting for their legacy in the financial world in some way, shape, or form. So I just found that very interesting. And hopefully I live to have a hell of a ride. And I don't have those, it was too young, too soon moments. But if I can make it to a mean 70, 75, I might be happy. But even though I do feel like I'm just going to be stuck, like I'm going to be the one just watching and suffering everybody pass away. But I don't know. I hope that's not me.
What do you mean, like Tom Hanks in The Green Mile?
So yeah, like something like that. Yeah, just like, and I don't like, because if I have to like go live through that, I'm not going to be a very nice old man. Like I'm going to be a grumpy old man. And it just like, because like I feel like now I understand why like the old heads when I was growing up, the 70, 80-year-olds when I was there, they understood that like life was just bullshit and everything that everybody was chasing was just crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like it was society's bullshit, life's bullshit. Nobody really knows shit. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody's just trying to live and go through life, as they see fit. So, but yeah, I just wanted to kind of hit on that, especially since last episode I had brought up the clip, and I just thought it was one of the best lines I've heard in a while. So it really resonated with me. So I figured I'd share that. But yeah, so in the spirit of sharing, and since I wanted to continue on the path of Black history and Black education and Black excellence because we are out of February. No, fuck that. You know what I'm saying? I'm sticking to me, right?
All right, come on. No more of that George Washington Carver talk. We're done.
We get into the real shit, right? So, but and the best part about it is I learned myself something, right? You know what I mean? Like this platform is not for me to act like I know everything and not to act like I fucking I'm the know-all be-all and I'm super, none of that. I learned shit just as much as anybody else, and because I learned something interesting, I figured I would share something with you guys. This video is kind of long, so we might do like 2 minutes of it, Joe. If it's not already, I think I put it for reference. But I think I want to show it just to give some content if we can.
Absolutely, we totally can.
Do like 2 minutes. And what the concept of the video is actually shows, I wanted to bring this up because of hairstyles, right? I know a lot of legislatures have finally passed like the Crown Act saying that you can't be discriminated towards your hair and certain hairstyles. And then I also talk about cultural appropriation a lot. So like with that, I want people to understand where braids and everything came from, that they're just not a stylish there we go, Jamar. It's fucking February 30th. Appreciate you on that one, bro. It's February 30th, and it's gonna keep going, right? But yeah, so this is a history of like cornrows and braids, and so you guys can educate yourselves as well as me educating myself and understand that certain hairstyles that we have as Black people, as African Americans, they were intended for survival, for safety, for protection, and certain means. So let's go ahead and check this out for a little bit, and then we'll unpack it.
For centuries, our hair has been a way to express our creativity and culture. But imagine if it meant the difference between life and death.
Hi, my name's Zainab J. I'm a freelance makeup artist from London and I work in film and television. Today I'm going to be recreating some methods of hairstyling that were essential for the survival of African people.
For our people, hair has played an important role in survival. Our ancestors would place rice, seeds, and sometimes gold on the scalp between two sections of hair. They did this so that if they were captured and forced to voyage across the Atlantic, they'd at least have a small amount of food for sustenance.
We can stop it here, Joe. I'll unpack it. I don't want to keep it going.
The technique was also used if they were planning a break.
So yeah, so like, so and it keeps going on to sit there and say, you know, the techniques and certain braiding patterns also were to help you understand what tribes you were coming from, and also communicate with others as they may have gotten as they've gotten to America, right, or North America, or wherever trading, wherever docking area the slave ships were going to, right? So they would, you know, rice, food, gold, any kind of tangible things that they could either trade, barter with, because they didn't know what was going to happen by the time they got to the States. They just knew they were getting captured, put in chains and shackles, and didn't know, right? So it goes a lot into it, right? And then also into the fact that I know I hear a lot of people, or even growing up, I heard a lot of people in their ignorance talking about, you know, Black people and their greasy heads and shit like that and all that. And even, you know, it was some jokes, like if you think of Coming to America, the joke where the parents are sitting down with the Jerry curl juice and they have the big old Jerry curl spot. Have you ever seen Coming to America? All right, Joe. All right. I don't know. I thought we was going to have to take the black card back.
One of my favorite movies of all time. When's the new one coming out? Or did it already?
It should be out. I think it's this month. It's like in a week or two. Everybody's been talking about it.
Yeah, I'm excited for that.
I'm kind of hesitant because I'm not, like, usually when you hear people that have heard or seen it, like sneak peek or whatever, and it's like good, they're talking about it, everybody's like, oh well, we just kind of want to let people decide. Yeah, that shit was shitty. It wasn't what everybody was expecting. But I kind of expect that out of all these like older remakes. But getting back to it, right? So like hair grease and stuff like that, it's a protective thing, right? So like being out in the sun a lot, our hair will get fried, our scalps will get damaged. So yes, it goes into the history of how they used to have to use bacon grease or fat lard or any kind of, you know, kind of grease to put in their hair to keep it, to keep their scalp protected, to keep their hair protected, and stuff like that. So that was very dope. So before you guys like start trying to culture appropriate and stuff like that, at least educate yourselves a little bit. Don't make fun of somebody because they have a style or whatever the case may be. Don't think that it's ignorant or whatever. Like, I hate seeing even now, right? I thought about it, like I've had my hair growing for a little bit, like maybe like going with locks or something like that. I don't think my significant other is really going for it, but you know what I'm saying? Like it's a style. It's hair first and foremost. You know what I'm saying? Like it's hair. You know what I mean? So I'm glad that like the Crown Act is being passed and people aren't the law is not allowing them to be pretty much what's the word I'm looking for? You know me, I'm horrible with words. They're not able, the law is being passed so people aren't able to be hindered from, you know, jobs and everything else just because due to their hair. So yeah, educate yourselves. Don't just try and look cool, you know what I'm saying, or just try and make fun of somebody, or even look at somebody weird because of their hair looks different. You know what I'm saying? It's hair, it's an expression, it's a style. So yeah. My other hates, there we go. I miss Arsenio. But yeah. So let's go into we'll go into an ad. We want to go into DJ Reefa? I know it's kind of down there, but let's go ahead and go to an ad.
There's always a holiday, birthday, or any celebration to look forward to. So why not prepare now and book your favorite DJ and or photographer? Book DJ Reefa, the most versatile female DJ around for your parties or small gatherings. Need a professional photo shoot done too? Then book Reef's Views to capture your dream shots as well. Don't need either, but still curious to check out the work? You can now find DJ Reefa on shopblackct.com, the best directory for all Black-owned businesses in Connecticut. On there, you'll find DJ Reefa's Instagram at Queen of All Trades with 3 L's, where you can now look and book. Need more information but want to reach out directly? Email DJ Reefa at masonsharifa@gmail.com. Memories last a lifetime, so let's start making them.
Make sure y'all are out here, especially if you're in the New England area. Book and DJ Reefa. I know her calendar is already starting to get filled up. I know, so that's what, like, people are really starting like to plan for the summer, Joe. Like,
yeah, well, they should. How exciting!
I'm getting excited. DJ Reefa's out there getting booked and busy. So if you guys are looking to kind of have like a coming out party, a COVID coming out party or something like that, definitely hit up DJ Reefa. She definitely I know she does photos. She does photos, she does DJ, and she's like a jack of all trades. Like, she's crazy with it. I wish you know what I do wish though? I wish we could hire somebody. We need to find somebody, a speech therapist for the president, for President Biden. We need to, since we're talking about people with all trades, we need to find a speech therapist. Unfortunately, Biden has had one of his first moments as president, as the president, his first, I guess, misheard quote, where he was speaking. He was saying, I can't remember exactly what he was saying, but apparently they thought he said the N-word. And I think he said I gotta pull it up. I had it, and then I had to refresh my computer. But Biden was speaking, and you know how he slurs?
Yeah.
What happened was he repeated in his speech. He just repeated what he was like. I think it was like efficient. I gotta find out the fucking word. Of course it won't say. Oh, he was saying, I'm eager to hear, and then he repeated like 3 times. You know how he goes, and again, I'm eager to hear, I'm eager to hear, I'm eager to hear. But eager to hear sounded like Nigger. And of course, all the conservatives, all the Biden haters decided to go crazy and, oh, he used the N-word. He da 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 da. Listen up, people. Y'all really need to relax. Like, it's getting to the point. Like, black people weren't even upset. Like, if black people understood what he said, then what the hell are y'all trying to push a certain agenda for? And that's where I'm getting sick of the race baiting, especially for conservatives, because y'all tend to be the biggest racists there are. Not to say every conservative is a racist, but every conservative supports a racist. And when I say that, you support Trump, so you support a fucking racist. So anyways, and then you support all your family members and shit that are low-key behind you. So in one way or the other, my statement's true, right? But back to that, Biden, brother, I understand that you have a speech impediment. I understand that, like, you're up there in the age, you're at that good life. He's at that living a good life moment. But brother, like, I need his speech team to like make the words or like space it out a little bit. And yeah, and I get it. He has a stutter, but yeah, it was interesting. And it was one of those things where I honestly didn't even feel like arguing with the other side about it, because like, first and foremost, y'all are conservatives and y'all are white, and y'all are trying to tell me how to feel disrespected. Like, that was the biggest thing. Everybody was like, if you're black and tried to flip what he said. You know what I mean? Pretty much they were trying to flip. If you're black, you're not black. If you're not black, if you allow him to call you the N-word and I can, or you're just fucking racist.
Yeah.
You're just looking for any reason to fucking use the word now. Like you're the issue. You're the problem. But yeah, like you're not even black, so stop complaining. I just love how conservatives are putting more gas on him saying this than their own family members, their parents, their children, or themselves saying, Nigger. You know what I'm saying? And if anything, y'all were more mad that he could say it and maybe not get I can't say that. Maybe if he was Uncle Joe, now he's President Joe. When he was Uncle Joe, he might have been able to get away with my Nigga, not an ER though. Like if he went up to Obama, was like, "Man, yeah," but that was just funny. I'm not upset about it. I know he didn't use an ER. He didn't say any of that at all. So he was saying I'm eager. So, Carlos, I'm so glad you didn't try to push that agenda. That you almost did last week. And yeah, good job. I would have had to give Frank the smart hat again. Makes sense. Everyone's speech improves after 80. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? At 80 years old, even at honestly, I don't even give so when I was living in Georgia, he had to been 80, between 80 and 85. And he was like an old school racist. Not even old school racist, but not to say racist because me and him had a lot of talks. And to say that somebody was racist means he would have never talked to me. But I definitely heard a couple ERs come out of his mouth when me and him were talking. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't directly at me, but him, explaining certain things. I don't pay attention to those racists. Like those people that are 80 plus, I actually find value. And I know this is going to sound wrong, but I found value into understanding. If you're going to sit there and share to me, your mentality or what you were thinking back in the day, I'm going to listen. Because to me, there's some kind of value into understanding the mindset that you're living in that certain day. And then especially if you can sit there and say, yeah, I know a lot of it was wrong. And just, you know what I'm saying? But not saying that I accept it, but I can be more understanding of a 80-year-old that's just delusional and just stuck in his old fucking ways than an actual 30 to 40-year-old fucking individual that just chooses to be fucking ignorant. There's a difference in my mind. But Frank, I'm not sure if I take you giving the smart hat as a compliment or an insult. No, Frank, that's always going to be a compliment because he made it the insult. He was taken aback that you were smarter than him. There's not to say that I didn't say he was dumb. I just said you were smarter. You're the smart one. But yeah. So, anyways, Biden, outside of you not really doing anything much, and maybe that might be talking to a minority doesn't mean that you aren't racist. Very true. But when I say that, it was the conversation. You know what I'm saying? With me and him, when we can converse, and even when it came out of his mouth, he would apologize. Not to sit there and say that it came out of his mouth a bunch of times, but there's not to say I'm giving him a pass, but I gave him a pass on certain things because he corrected himself. The first time he came out, matter of fact, first time it came out of his mouth, I remember blatantly. Me and him were talking. I mean, he was talking about how he had some kind of it was either a milk route or a paper route or something. And one of the black kids, oh no, it wasn't a milk route or a paper route. It was a shoveling thing. He was shoveling. Back in the day, he was shoveling, and one of the black kids stole one of half of his route because he got so used to it. And one of the black kids, he said, and he was like, "Oh, you stupid, ER." He called him an ER, and then he said the ER, but as soon as it came out of his mouth, he said, "Oh, I'm sorry. You're 80 years old. You're telling us I know it's gonna sound bad, but there's certain things that I give right with an 80-year-old, and then." The fact that within his story, he was saying that now he knows that, you know what I mean? As he got older, he knew that word was wrong and shit like that. And but whatever. But you're back to Jared's point. You're right. Just because somebody speaks to you doesn't mean that they're not racist, but with the intent. And then also just the way me and him had, you know what I mean? A certain relationship. He might not have been racist or might not be diehard racist. That's what I'm saying. But he definitely had some racism to him. but not to sit there and say he was deliberately racist to me. But anyways, not to keep fucking I guess backing this guy. But anyways, where was I even going? Biden's speech therapist being a racist. Well, not being a racist, shit like that. I don't know. Fuck it. All I see, I don't know. But it's weird. It's weird. And not to kind of like keep harping on the racism thing, but like I look at racism, I guess, in different views, right? I can just like with an old black man, I'm not going to be more into correcting an old black man if he's using the C word or some other derogatory term for a white person, which there aren't many or whatever. Or maybe I should say there's not many that seem like super, super offensive, because how can you be offensive to the offenser? But I don't know. Off of this, I don't really feel like talking. Well, no, I do feel like talking about racism, but not black and white. I feel like talking about white and Asian in a little bit, but not diehard racist. There we go. Not diehard racist describes a lot of people. Very true. Very true. Very true. Very true. Let me just stop putting my foot in my mouth tonight. Opening a dialogue helps to close the gap. It's when they don't want to talk and keep perpetuating the shit to themselves in their circles.
But
there we go.
What do I always say?
There we go.
When you call somebody a racist, that's not all a racist, or maybe it's just a little bit a racist, because maybe we're all a little bit
racist.
A little bit racist.
I've said that about myself. I've said that.
You have, and you are definitely a little bit racist. And again, maybe we all are
across the board too. I'm racist against black people too. I hate everybody.
I notice that when you tell a racist person that they're racist, they get like batshit crazy. Of like, it's like the worst thing you could have. I'm not racist. You're like, whoa, dude, really? Did I feel like I touched a nerve there?
And they're scared to admit that racism is taught. I'm sorry, like it's taught. And when I say that, like racism on my side, and I don't care too much of the old black. I'm not here for that debate of whether or not black people can be racist, right? Just going off of the term, my racism just stems from the racism that was brought towards me, right? So like I let's see here. When I say that, like when people were racist towards me, it made, so like for instance, I had to been in elementary school, maybe between 3rd and 5th grade. I used to get dropped off at my aunt's job, and there was a playground literally right at her building. So I would be typically the only kid playing at this playground on this college campus. For one time, there was 2 white kids. They were brother and sister, and I was playing with them for about 15 minutes. Their parents were doing whatever in the building. They came out, and literally they said, "Come over here. You are not supposed to be playing with him." So it caused me to cry and go into a whole emotional breakdown. And literally, as they were running, the girl said, "Because he's black." So, you know what I'm saying? So at that age, you know what I'm saying? So that made me be like, I don't want to fuck with white kids for a while. Because in my mind at that age, and you know what I mean, luckily my aunt is a college professor in psychology and human development, so I was able to kind of like fucking unpack it, and she was able to help me with it. But it made a stern kind of like hatred, like, well, shit, are all white kids going to treat me like this? And then growing up, learning and hearing about the hatred and the racism that is brought upon us, it, you know what I mean, it kind of flowed that kind of, not necessarily hatred, but kind of defensive racism, if you want to say, right? And in that sense, but it's definitely racism is learned. It's something that you pick up, and you have to be mature enough to shake that shit or understand where, not to say everybody's perfect, but if you do have a racial slip up, to acknowledge that shit and definitely admit that you were fucking wrong and move on, which goes back to my everyday fucking theory with fucking conservatives, or thesis with conservatives. They lack fucking accountability. That's it. Yeah. That's the, like, accountability. That's the biggest thing. Have fucking accountability. And they a lot of them don't. Many of them don't. They contradict themselves. They go against their own morals. They go against their own religion. Somebody said it best. They're the don't tread on me party, but they want to tread on everybody else.
Well, because it's their country, they think.
So, but whatever. Anyways, you ever watch The Price is Right?
Come on, really?
I asked that because like I used to love The Price is Right, and now that I like my schedule allows me to watch The Price is Right, The Price is Right, while little man's in school. Like I love that shit. So I know last week we spoke about Family Feud and whatever, but this week I definitely want to hit on Price is Right because like I had a grown up passion for it, and now Lil Man has a passion for it. So we have a lot of like fun watching it between like some of his classes. And I guess I'll be a guilty dad and say that he was definitely 1 or 2 minutes late sometimes, or we're definitely like trying to see what people won. But anyways, I had a lot of great memories bringing up on The Price is Right. And I bring this up just because like I said, we were talking about game shows last week, but a fond memory. I used to watch this a lot of times during like summertime when I was in Florida with my grandmother. And I think, what was I about to say? So me and him were watching the game the other day, and he got like 2 answers right. And I was like,
nice.
First and foremost, you're just about 6 now, and he's super smart, I believe. But he was like the math. I don't know what it is. Like him and money, I think has just been him watching me like get in the stocks and like budget things out and play around with money, right? But he added some things up real quick and got one of the guesses right. And I said, holy shit. But then it started getting me to thinking, right? The Price is Right has seemed to gotten like a lot easier. Like this is seeming to be like an easy fucking game. And that's what I was getting with it. I was like, because we were talking about Family Feud last week, and I was kind of comparing the two, and I was like, Family Feud is a lot harder than The Price is Right. It seems like since whatchamajigget, not Drew Carey has gotten to it. It's definitely gotten a lot easier to win. And then I started kind of like following up. It actually is. They made the odds easier. Like they made the games easier.
What?
Yes.
So why?
So back when they when Drew Carey came around, they were worried that the ratings and stuff were gonna go down.
Yeah.
So they made the games a lot easier so that enticed people to want to win more, and they kept seeing people win more, and then to keep people watching. So yeah, that was an interesting fucking let's see. Sorry, miss. He had to catch the end of facts. Like we be doing it, man. We be doing it. But so then it kind of like got me into like thinking about like a couple other like interesting facts, right? So fun fact, you know how the mic is a skinny mic, like super skinny?
Yep.
So, and it's been like that like the whole thing of the show. Well, it's a psychological thing with the producers. Their logic is that the contestants have never been on stage before. So like having a skinny mic is less, having a skinny mic, it feels like less harmless, or you know what I'm saying? So it's not so intimidating, but then it's so awkward because it's not the regular size of a mic. Nobody really wants to hold it. So that way it kind of psychs them out, and then it keeps them from having to like pass on and do all these other crazy things with the mic because it's so small and unfamiliar to the contestants. They don't feel like obligated to grab it and nervous or like drop it or something like that. So that's kind of a ploy. Just like slot machines, more wins, less money, even false ones. See, there you go. Did you also know that Bob Barker, he was like a super advocate for like PETA?
Yes, that I did know. And the show with Get Your Pets Sprayed and Neutered. Yep, I remember that.
He was so strong of an advocate. He threatened not to host the 87 Miss USA pageant as well because they were doing they had the furs and shit. Like they would come out on the furs.
No kidding. Go Bob.
So yeah, they took away the furs and he ended up hosting. So he his hair actually boosted their ratings. The silver fox hair. He was dyeing it for a while, and then he didn't dye it, went on vacation, and like everybody loved it. So like he came back and recorded a couple shows, and that was that. But yeah, so I love The Price is Right. I think I would be a great contestant on The Price is Right. I would love to go on.
Why don't you try out for it? I think they're coming to Connecticut.
They are. I think they've came a couple times and I missed it, but I would love to. I think I would be like a fun guest on The Price is Right.
You would be great.
So
You should
I don't know.
totally do it. I want
It's either that or like Family Feud. Like we got to either like we got to do that or Family Feud. One of these shows. But yeah. Let's go into. Do we want to talk about women in their bodies, or do we want to? Well, not. Let me say, not say
Let's
women
talk
in their
about
bodies,
women in their
or do we
bodies.
want to talk about the hurt ego and how bullies need friends too?
Well, I like that. I think that's very interesting. True story.
So here we are. Let me make sure. I'm prepared. All right. So the hurt ego. So recently, this past week, we've had a couple constituents post on another podcast on another group. They were just talking about, well, somebody had posted up pretty much how like liberals are more likely to defriend conservatives or Republicans off of Facebook and blah 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 blah, and like and their biggest thing was like, oh my god, liberals are supposed to be forgiving and all this other stuff, but they're not keeping us as friends, and they're just letting this politics ruin friendships and everything else like that. Guess what? Once again, and we just said it now, right? You guys are the fucking don't tread on me party, but want to tread on everybody else. And then you guys get so upset when nobody wants to hear your shenanigans anymore, right? Like, I'm sorry. You guys are the bullies. You guys have been the bullies for so fucking long. And then when the bully no longer has anybody to bully, what do they do when they start to realize how much of a fool they are? They start reaching for everything. They start trying to grab and wonder why everybody's not being their friends. That's exactly what's happened now. Right. So we have all these conservatives, we have all these Republicans that have literally just shitted on people, didn't care about who said, didn't care about anything, didn't care about anybody's feelings, didn't care about anybody's sexual orientation, didn't care about anything. Right. No morals, no values, anything at all. No loyalty at all. Right. But here we go. Y'all are fucking complaining about people defriending you off of Facebook. Like how and I said it. I said it's literally an ego hurt. Their ego is fucking bruised because you value your friendships. You place value into the friends on Facebook instead of actually taking a true value and actually trying to reach out to your friends and having a civilized conversation with them. The difference is, you want to know why nobody wants to be your friend on Facebook anymore? Because one, that's their Facebook. They don't want to see your ignorance anymore. So if you really cared about your friend, your Facebook friend, you would probably personally reach out to them and have a true conversation with them instead of just going by what your friends post on Facebook. A Facebook friendship ain't shit. So to all you conservatives that hold Facebook friends at a certain value, that's why I say your ego's fucking hurt. Your ego's fucking hurt because you need that validation from social media to make you feel like you're right. If you don't have somebody validating or somebody to sit there and fight with you on Facebook, then what? This goes back to the whole Parler thing. That's exactly why Parler was fucking trash. You guys had nobody to feed that negative energy to. So now when nobody wants to receive that energy because your energy is based off of ignorance, bigotry, and hatred, we're good on that. So no, I'm sorry. I don't want to look at your dumbass posts on lies. I don't want to continuously listen to you fucking cry about how anybody fucking got beat up because they didn't know how to keep their fucking mouth shut when they were speaking illicit facts and speaking bullshit and got their fucking mouth popped. Gone are those days where you guys get to sit there and run your fucking mouths and not get socked in it. Sorry, those days are fucking gone. So guess what? Whether we're socking you physically or taking you the fuck off of our pages, so fucking what? Go find real friends. If that's the issue, go find real friends. And that's probably hard for you because people don't want to be around ignorance. There's a difference between ignorance and morality. You guys obviously don't know the fucking difference. You guys would rather sit there with your thumbs up each other's fucking ass, playing human centipede, playing ass to fucking mouth, and instead of actually sitting there saying, hey, we need to make a fucking change. Guess what? America's been shit for the past how many 100 fucking years it's been established. So yes, when people are ready to make progressive change and change this dirty soil that we've been living on, I'm sorry. We don't want to continue to live by those same dumb, broken old ways. So go cry a river somewhere else. Go fucking cry to all your fucking conservative friends. That's the whole purpose of somebody's personal Facebook. It's to be able to open their Facebook and be happy and enjoy friends that care. Friends that actually want to see true change. Friends that aren't just downplaying some real shit. I don't give a fuck about a Capitol being fucking stormed if my rights as a human being because I'm black are not the same as yours because you're white. I don't give a fuck. I will remove you. You know how many people I've removed off Facebook who I call brother and sister? Not because they were Trump fans, because they were too ignorant to listen and have a common conversation. So, exactly, Jeremy, JT, I'm sure they will find a welcoming circle jerk somewhere. And that's where they fucking belong. Go circle jerk each other and spew that shit on Parler. Go ahead, Joe.
Well, a couple things. Number one, that article that we're talking about was from 2016.
Exactly.
And the argument from the poster was, well, I'm sure it's just gotten worse. And it's like, didn't you all leave Facebook completely for Parler?
Yeah, you guys hate Facebook, so what are you complaining about?
What are you talking about? You all left the platform. You defriended everybody. What are you talking about?
And then they want to come back to the platform or open up their, oh, well, I need friends again. I don't have any Facebook. Well, that's because, guess what? If you go into a room and you say everybody's crazy, I promise you, everybody's not fucking crazy. You're the fucking crazy one.
And one more point on, when they talk about liberals and Democrats being the party of tolerance, what they're tolerant towards is the respect and rights of minorities and LGBTQ people, not racist fuckfaces.
Exactly.
I think you've truly misinterpreted what they mean by tolerant. And they don't mean they're going to tolerate you being an asshole. They're going to tolerate people who are just being themselves. And you're probably being yourself as an asshole, but that's something you can actually change.
And that's the thing. They're not ruining friendships. You're the person that's ruining the friendship because you are too fucking lost in your fucking mind to actually look at yourself and say, maybe something about me is not sitting right with this person. And honestly, it's their Facebook page. They choose who they want to tolerate. And there's something about you that they just don't tolerate anymore. So if you're a real fucking friend, you will figure out what that thing was and try and fix it. Or guess what? If you can't fix it, then guess what? Then maybe you weren't meant to be friends. People outgrow people all the time. So stop going on social media crying about how you're losing friends. If you're losing friends, there's a reason. There's a reason. And if you're worried about your friends on Facebook, I look at you different. I look at you and your morals and your ego a lot different because you place value in shit that doesn't need to have fucking value. You would rather, is that what really matters to you people? How many Facebook friends I still have at the end of the day? That tells me that you probably don't have a lot of friends in real life if that's what you're dwindling down on. I was so glad to, you know what I'm saying? I get it. We're in a digital age and all that other shit. But you're a loser. You're a lame if you're marking your success or who you are or who you are as a person by the count of Facebook friends you have. I'm sorry that I look at you super differently. And that lets me know that I don't need to be friends with anybody that believes that. I don't need to be friends with anybody that's too worried about that. And we hear so many things. We hear so many bitches, gripes, and complaints from these people in these parties, but nobody speaks about how they can change it. Nobody speaks about even if your opinion might be wrong. Everybody on that side is too scared to have their own fucking thought, but they're always talking about, hey, liberals and everything, they just follow. No, if you look at it and historically, Democrats fight within themselves way more than everybody else. So excuse us for actually trying to be progressive. And I'm not even a Democrat. I'm central as fuck. I'm registered. I'm registered. Whatever that shit is. Neither party. Right? So it's just I'm over here. Everybody's tired of y'all shit. So that's why y'all are getting fucking deleted. You're that is funny. It's just it's just sad that y'all hold the value of a friendship in regards to whether or not you have friends or friends, whether or not you have friends on Facebook or not. Like that's sad, super sad.
3 buddies of mine are getting divorced, and they're all Trump supporters. And in each case, their wife just had a fuck enough.
Yeah,
I mean, your
tolerate
own wife thinks you're an asshole. Also, I love the asshole Trump guys who will, or they'll say that they're not, I'm not a big Trump guy, but and they'll post a meme, maybe an anti-AOC or an anti-Biden meme, and they'll be like, and when you comment on it, I just thought it was funny. Not trying to engage. Well, motherfucker, you put it there.
You put it there.
We're going to engage.
I had this conversation
now.
I had this conversation with, which you already know who. My best friend, he's been so close to getting deleted because I'm just to the point where the stupid post like that, it's not even funny. Right. Like I have a beautiful sense of humor.
If it was funny, I'd have fucking posted it.
Exactly. Like if it was funny, definitely would have seen it up here. But it's just like it's just dumb. Let the shit go. Like literally they've bullied people enough, and now everybody's like, we don't have to play with this person. And now they're literally wondering, why is nobody playing with me? Well, it's you. I hate to say it. It's not us. It's you. So keep crying, keep losing Facebook friends instead of looking at yourself and looking at the mirror and sitting there saying, you know what? It's probably me. And then I look at it also like if I were to come, I look at it, right? My Facebook is my house, right? My Facebook is my house, the people I want on there. If somebody was to come to and I said this analogy before, especially to a couple of those people, you know who I'm talking, the ones that were engaging in this conversation, right? We'll male and female, the male first. If they had somebody in their house speaking constantly of inappropriate ways to women and all this other shit, they would not leave their children, especially their daughter or their son or anything with that child or with that person.
Right.
If that person was out there speaking racist shit or inappropriate shit, they would kick them out of that fucking house. If somebody came in their house and disrespected them, how much are you supposed to tolerate before you sit there and say, get the fuck out? I don't care who you are. You could be a friend or whatever. If you're a friend, you know better well than to be, if you're that much of a friend, if you care that much. And I think that's another thing. I think, especially with Facebook and social media, the term friend has been watered down so much. Like so much watered down. Like you're reaching for people that really don't matter in your life. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, if you don't have that same kind of mentality or the same mindset, it's not ruining a friendship. It's really just outgrowing somebody. I've outgrown you, or that person has outgrown you. So like, y'all are lame. Y'all are super fucking lame. Every last one of you crying or, saying, oh, you're missing the point, or, oh, you guys are supposed to be so forgiving and look at you guys. No, we're just fed up. We're fed up and we don't have to deal with that shit anymore. I'm glad a lot more people are hitting that unfriend button and that block button, because that's just blocking that ignorance away. So once again, check your ego at the fucking door. If your ego's hurt because people are fucking deleting you, it's you, not us. Ooh, that felt good. That felt super fucking good.
Sometimes you got to get it off. You got to get it off the chest a little bit.
Super, super good. And if anybody has anything to say about Rob, and I'll piss you off shortly, make sure you at me. Don't subliminally say some shit on your fucking podcast. Make sure you at me and tag me in that shit, because I'm here all day at 9 p.m. every Monday night. So what's up? Next thing up, since we're talking about, you know what? No, before this, I wanted to get on. I meant to put this into Yep, That's Racist. Because for a while I wanted to like kind of give Yep, That's Racist a break, because I didn't want people just to like keep getting that negative energy. But I want to talk real quick about these conservatives that are being racist towards Asian Americans. And y'all, like, y'all are sick. And this is why I say your moral compass is fucked up, conservatives and people on the right. You scream, I'm not racist, I love everybody, but you guys have not corrected or have not even attempted to sit there and say, hey, all you fuckheads that are bringing our conservative name down and our Republican name down by being racist towards Asian Americans because of this fucking coronavirus, y'all are fucking trash. because y'all are still supporting these idiots. Y'all are still falling behind and sitting there saying, oh, well, it's just a joke. Oh, well, it did come from China. That's the mentality, once again, that people don't like to fucking hear. No, we don't agree with that shit. Like, y'all are literally being racist towards Asian Americans because of a fucking pandemic, because your old president, that old fucking fat orange piece of shit, named it the C virus. And now y'all are taking that to a full extent to start harassing and being racist and actually assaulting Asian Americans. Y'all are fucking trash. Y'all are trash for still believing in this party. Y'all are still trash for still supporting this asshole. And y'all are still trash for supporting anybody that does this kind of shit. You are the fucking problem for still going along and allowing this kind of belief. How little are you guys to go pick on somebody because of who they are and where their heritage is from? And y'all are picking on Americans with Asian descent. But y'all are supposed to be so fucking for America? No, fuck y'all. You dumb fucking conservative bitches. Fuck y'all. And I want everybody of Asian descent to know that I support you 100%. Start beating their fucking ass. And what's sad is they're not even doing this to guys our age, people our age. They're doing this to the elderly. That's how much of a coward they are. You wouldn't do that to a black woman, but you're going to sit there and harass and assault and do all this shit to some people of Asian descent? Y'all are fucking cowards. What kind of country is this? Oh, that's right. This is typical. This is what you guys do. This is how ignorant and low you guys fucking get. I'm so fucking sick of y'all fucking cowards for picking on somebody because somebody who doesn't have the balls to fight himself came up with a dumbass joke. So, like, miss me with that bullshit. And if I catch it, if I get a hint of it around me, it's going to be like, you might as well call me the fucking ER. You might as well call me a whole cold-hearted nigger because I'm going to beat your fucking ass if I catch that shit. Who are you racist, ignorant fucks? Joe, this shit's fucking sickening. To be racist towards somebody because of a fucking virus?
Yep.
You know how much shit America's fucked up for so many other countries?
Mm-hmm.
We should be made fun of. Oh my God, we are that bully that needs to be punched in the fucking jaw. Hard. You type of Americans fucking disgust me. It's sad, it's sick, and it really needs to be taken care of. And I hope and I pray to God, like, and that's like for you to even for anybody to sit there and say, oh yeah, I still stand for Trump and I still stand for conservatives and still like and not fucking disown this kind of behavior. What kind of person does that make you? What kind of person does that make you deep inside? Because guess what? If somebody started doing all that shit to y'all and started calling every white person fucking mayonnaise who was a fucking conservative and all this other shit, it's the same way. It's the same fucking way. They don't want to be called racist and all this other shit, but they feel the audacity to have the balls of sit there and fucking and call somebody coronavirus and all this other shit. Y'all are fucking cowards and pussies. Pick on somebody your own size. Pick on somebody that's gonna fucking swing back. That's the problem, Joe. A lot of these motherfuckers haven't been punched in their fucking mouth. Because if they
talked about that before,
if they would have got punched in their fucking mouth, they probably would have thought twice. But that's again, they got the big boys. They got the boys in blue to fucking back them up. Man, this shit's crazy. This shit got me fucking like two fucking through. But on to their body, their choice, because y'all got me on one this week. Y'all got me on one this week. Why are people so worried about what women do with their bodies, Joe?
I've often wondered. Well, again, this is a big part of that religion bullshit where there are men who believe it's their duty to make sure women don't have sex with guys that aren't them. Or something like that. It's weird. I guess because God or some shit. I don't know.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
weird. I don't like
made
it.
up. Yeah, so pretty much,
Yeah.
and even in like, and this goes even beyond just men. It goes to the conservative women too that believe, this whole pro life movement, right? So my biggest thing, and we'll kind of start right here, right? We hear a lot of Republicans and conservatives scream how they're sick of paying for fucking, welfare and food stamps and all this other shit, right? But they just want to let people they feel the need to push people to have babies, outside of when they're ready, right? And it's an abomination and all this other shit for abortions, right? First and foremost, that's that woman's body. If you are not that woman, who are you to fucking say anything? That woman, the same way y'all want to have rights to not wear masks and all that other shit and all this other. What's the difference from her and her body and you and your fucking mouth? Covering your fucking mouth. If that woman decides that she's not ready to have that baby because whatever the reason is, who are you to choose that? But you, at the same time, y'all don't want to. You're contradicting yourself because you don't want to pay for shit, but you want children to keep just coming into this world, right? Want to just keep having children come to this world, right? And then it brings me into a couple other things with it, right? I heard a lot of people sitting there saying, well, it's if the man well, of course, if the woman has a child, the man should do it, and then the man should be responsible as well. And then it kind of brought me to the idea of if women, let me see how I can word this the right way because I don't want to sound irresponsible. The question was brought up that if women have the choice to have their child, should men have the choice to be financially responsible, or vice versa, right? So if like the woman wants a child and doesn't want to be part of the child's life, can the father, say, hey, I want the child and be good? And should they be allowed to kind of go after them financially, right? And then one of the arguments that was brought up was if, say, two people have consensual sex, she gets pregnant, just says it to the father and says, hey, I'm pregnant. What are we? And they have the discussion, and he's like, hey, I wasn't ready for a child. I don't want a child. You know what I'm saying? And she's like, well, I think I want the job. I don't want to, you know what I mean? I don't want to I don't want to have an abortion. I want to keep it. Should it be fair because she had the choice of her body to do what it is? Should he be able to say, hey, you know what I mean? Like, you chose to keep the baby. And I know this is going to sound bad. And if it sounds harsh, please correct me in the comments. Right. And I'm not saying that I necessarily agree with this statement, but it had me kind of thinking, right? So like financially, if I, the guy, say, hey, I'm not ready for this child, we have this option, right? We could have took a plan B. You said no. You decided you wanted to keep this baby. Should the father really be held responsible? If you know what I'm saying? Because she has, in a sense, she has the overall say so. I was like, it's kind of tricky because yes, they're both held responsible. Both have the equal weight. I don't care what anybody says. They both have the equal weight because they both decided, they both had the equal decision weight of saying, hey, we're going to have sex. They both decided to have sex, right? That was their both right. But outside of that, of course, a baby can be made, reproduction can happen. But if there's an out and she decides not to take that out for whatever reason, at this point, should the father be held responsible? With the times moving, right? With everybody saying, hey, we're giving a woman a pro-choice, we're giving her this option. If it doesn't work, I don't know. What are we thinking? Murky waters we're wading in right here, right?
Yeah, Dave Chappelle, in I think his latest stand-up routine does a bit on this where he basically says
that's probably where these guys got it from.
Yeah, well, he basically says that mind your fucking business if you're a dude. But to be fair, if you can murder that motherfucker, I can abandon it. That if you don't want nothing to do with it, right, good to go. And I don't disagree with that.
I don't either.
I don't disagree with that. Look, I'll put it to you like this. I don't think somebody should be allowed to force you to own up to it. If in other words, if a woman has a right to choose,
mm-hmm.
and I'm perfectly fine with that, and I think abortion's great. I think it's an underutilized tool. It's like steroids in sports. I'd like to see everybody doing it.
I'm not wrong. I'm not disagreeing.
Listen, everybody's against abortion until you knock up the wrong girl.
There you go.
And then all of a sudden, you're like, wait.
If I would have, I'm pretty sure if I was to knock up one of these conservative,
only $300. That's not bad.
Shit, Plan B. Apparently, like Plan B is like the new fucking Motrin out here, which I'm learning. But anyways, we won't even get into that.
Which let me ask you all.
We will.
Here's what I could never. Where are all of these whores that are using abortion and the Plan B pill as I'm not
gonna say whores.
Well, they gotta be. Who's fucking that much that you need? Like you need a jar of Plan B pills at your bedside? I don't know.
I don't know about. Okay. So this is a safe space because it's my show and I don't give a fuck, right? And I'm fully transparent. I've had to, not me take it per se, but there was a couple instances where Plan B was taken in my past. So I'm not gonna say that maybe I'm the whore, but I didn't have it on my bedside. I had to go to the store.
JT said down by the docks. That's where that shit's going down.
And they're not whores, Joe. They're sex workers. Okay, we have to respect them. They're sex workers.
Well, listen, if this is a professional thing, that is a work. I mean, I could see where if you're a sex worker, I guess there's two schools of thought on this, but I'll go more conventional. Being pregnant is not ideal for being a sex worker unless you're working in a really niche market.
Yeah, unless you're planning, but keeping it in the normal circumstances. I think that like, if the father can't like abandon it, I think that definitely child support whores. Jesus, I think child support should be a lot more fair. So like, you know how like there's a average cost from like 0 to 18.
Yeah,
and that's what child support needs to be. I'm sorry, like for any child, I don't care how rich the person is or how poor the person is, that whatever inflation, of course, because inflation happens, but like that split up into however many months in 18 years, that's where it needs to go. That's what needs to be child support. Because I think this whole like 10% or 9% or 9, whatever the percentage is of what you make for it to be child support is bullshit. Because every circumstance is different. Like I know for me, like especially like for me, like if I got somebody pregnant or if we got pregnant, not to say I got somebody because that just puts all the weight on me, but if we got pregnant and then I was like, hey, I'm not ready for this, even though, you know what I'm saying? Like, even though with that understanding, if she has a choice to abandon it, me personally, I could never see me abandoning my child, but that option should be there.
Yes.
The option should be there. I think that's, if we're speaking equality, if we're speaking in the equality sense, yeah, everything fair and because that's a choice. You just like if you break up and you guys have a fucking house together, you figure out who gets the house or you get rid of the house, right?
Absolutely.
And I'm sorry, everybody, some people might say, well, this is a human being. And the same token, kind of their responsibility, their property. So you're asking people to bring on more of a responsibility on themselves that they're not ready for. And let's face it, with sex comes responsibility. So it boils down to the main thing of, and this is all speaking on the consensual side. I'm not getting into like rape and sexual assault and all that. That's a whole different topic, which I think is even more horrible for conservatives and people on the far right to sit there and say, no, even if somebody gets raped, they have to live through this and they have to keep their baby like that. I know some people do, because, you know, I mean, that's still a blessing to them. But still, like, to make somebody go through that, through a bad experience, and have to try and make them forced to have a baby when they were possibly raped, that's horrible. And these fucking people really believe that, oh no, we're gonna make you live through this, but we don't want to have to help you. No, that's something literally somebody has a choice in life to do. So like, let them make their fucking choice. The same way somebody's not gonna fucking get at you for drinking alcohol or doing something else with your body, the shit that you put in your body, the nasty shit you put in your body. Stop fucking worrying about what these people are doing. Planned Parenthood is fucking amazing. I'm personally happy for Planned Parenthood for two reasons. They've gotten me out of a bind, and they've given me free condoms growing up, so I didn't have to keep getting in the binds. And maybe if y'all took sex education a lot more serious instead of just keeping it with, you know, little surface level shit, you might see a couple differences. But then again, I think also society has it too. Like, I don't know if teen pregnancy has gone down, but like, I know, like, well, I was just about to say that was it Teen Mom show?
Oh,
I don't,
God.
that was dead for a little bit. I think it might have like spiked back up, but like, even, you know what I mean? Even then, like, it's not as, I guess, hyped as much as it was, you know, what, 10 years ago? So I don't know. I don't know the stats. I don't know whatever, but you know what I mean? It's, we shouldn't be worried about what people are doing with their bodies because it's their choice, their body, their choice. And y'all are fucking clowns for, you know, putting a book in precedence over somebody's actual like health and like choice. And when I say book, I'm saying the Bible and religion and shit like that. I hate to break it to you, but God and them didn't know shit about none of this going on now. So whatever. It is what it is. Real moral quagmire you brought to the table tonight, fellas. That's what I'm talking about.
A real moral quagmire. That is the term of the night. A real
moral quagmire.
That should be the name of your next episode should be a real moral quagmire.
JT, there you go.
JT, I owe you a call too, by the way. JT's great. JT is I don't want to call this dude a fraud, Rob.
Oh, jeez.
He's if you look at his profile picture, he looks very gangsta. Right? Got it going on.
Yep.
And then you talk to him and he's like quoting like Henry Wadsworth Longfellow.
See, that there you go. Don't let the fucking appearance fool you.
It's about right. You
Don't
know,
let that fucking appearance
it's about
fool
having a look, and then you're talking to the dude, and I'm like, man, you read, don't you? You like books.
I tell you, a lot of these fucking conservatives and shit would love motherfuckers from jail.
Yeah.
You know how educated these motherfuckers are? They're super fucking smart. But once again, they're trying to stop them from progressing and being fucking, you know, citizens again. You know how many fucking I would put my money on some guys that like did some time and came back with some fucking knowledge. They could probably run a business better than most of these fucking idiots that fucking are CEOs now, because they've definitely, I mean, they've put the time into educating themselves on certain things. Like it's fucking crazy. That's a whole nother story. That's a whole nother topic right there in itself. But so then it kind of like in the whole aspect of that, like it kind of, as far as like, you know, children and having children and then being raised right, it really had me thinking, question, is it really the money a child wants versus the time and memories they will always cherish, especially when we're talking about child support, right? We hear, especially in my community, we hear so much about fucking, oh, I'm putting them on child support because the systematic oppression has led the black woman to believe that she's better off without her male counterpart. But that's a whole nother fucking topic for discussion. But you know, keeping this aspect, you know, when you think about, you know, child support and guys that the hindrance of child support, I'll say, right? I hate that the fact that like parenting has been related to correlate so much to monetary or financial, gains or financials, period. Right. Even when I grow up, I always like my stepdad. I considered him for a while a great provider, right? Like my dad, he's supposed to be even growing up in the household, right? Dad's provider, the mom takes care of the house. Um, but I look at it and even think, I was raised in a single parent household, but I had my stepfather that was living with my dad. I mean, with my mom that was married to my mom. But outside of the providing, I found a lot more of my joy and happiness with my father was just like the personal time, right? The excuse me, and then the memories that we built together, versus like anything that he could have bought me or done for me financially, right? So I hate that the fact that like people now correlate the value of somebody's relationship, like a father-son or a mother-daughter, mother-son, whatever the relationship is, to how well somebody supports somebody financially. So like you look at it, maybe if a young guy had sex with somebody and they have a baby, he might not financially be able to take care of that child. So what happens is a lot of the times we see that the father is hindered from having a relationship with the child just due to him not being able to pay child support, or him not, you know what I mean? Like child support is fucking high. Most of his check gets, taken out. So he might not have extra money, whatever the case may be. Right. But because of financial obligations, that relationship gets hindered. And then now a father is, taken away from spending those moments and cherishing those moments because he doesn't have the monetary means to take care of that child. So I think like that's something to really take into effect as well, to think that like a lot of the times it's not necessarily about the monetary, right? You can still be a father without having to pay a fucking arm and a leg. You know what I'm saying? Like in all reality, if you're thinking of bringing a child into this world, I think on both sides, like you got to look at that. You know what I'm saying? You're not, of course, you're not taking care of you. You're taking care of somebody else. So it goes back to like, if the mother decides to keep the child, or if the father decides to keep the child, they have to understand, hey, I'm going to be financially supporting this child for whatever. And then if the other person might not, you know what I mean? If they decide maybe to come back into life 2-3 years later because they realize what they're missing out of, don't hold that back because for 2 or 3 years they weren't there financially. Like that, you know what I'm saying? Like that's something that I think really hinders especially the minority community, African American community, especially because I can only speak from that side of the fence. And then I also wonder if more men would be willing to be a part of their children's life if they weren't so afraid of the financial responsibility that comes with that. You know what I'm saying? So like, I wonder how many men would be more willing, or not willing, but like will be there a lot more if they weren't worried about the financial strain that it took, right? Or like, you know what I'm saying? Like if they weren't worried about, oh man, I haven't given her child support in 3 months. You know what I'm saying? Like I think that even new fathers of like, while their spouse or while their baby mother or significant other is pregnant, they would be more into the father role without having to worry about, oh, if we break up, am I going to get put on child support? You know what I'm saying? Like those are more, they're more worried about the financial aspect than actually being a father, if that makes sense. I don't know.
It does.
So you know what I mean? Even then, like I look at that and I don't know. I know I'm glad. Once again, I between my Uncle Tony and my father, when I say father, my stepfather who married my mother, I don't, that step shit doesn't mean shit to me. Like either you're my father or you're not, right? So between my Uncle Tony and my father, I cherish those memories and those times we spent more than money, especially with my Uncle Tony, because he was married to my aunt who I was raised by when I was younger. Like he had no financial like ties to me at all. You know what I'm saying? But even the things like the financial things that he's sent me money or paid for, I didn't care. Not to say I didn't care or wasn't grateful for it, but the time, you know what I'm saying? The time spent, the lessons learned, the memories we shared was way more important. So, oh yeah, I think that's a good foot into that.
I would say so.
I think
Rob's
it's
all
time.
fired up. You got
I'm
a lot of shit on
today,
your mind.
man. A lot of shit on my mind.
Well, last week, reeling from the death of a friend, you were definitely a little off.
Oh, super, super off.
You are back in a big way, sir.
And a lot of that actually has to do with that friend per se, because especially when I first started the podcast and first kind of like started all this, she was heavy into support. She was very happy. We talked about it a couple times. Even she had said maybe once she wanted to be, come on. So, and I think like just kind of, not to say that I'm over it, because I definitely not over it, but like coming at peace. Me and her mom have spoken a couple times. So, it's made things a little bit easier, but then also understanding that, like things, I don't know, let's hear. Coming to understand, like, I guess, like, you have to still kind of move the way, that person would have wanted you to move, and kind of still maneuver the way that person wanted to maneuver. So I'm just kind of like keeping that in the back of my mind. You know what I'm saying? So like, even though you sit there, a lot of, even you, or like people say, once you die, their spirit isn't there or whatever. But like, in a good sense of like, just for me, for my sanity, it's been like, hey, just keep driving, keep going, keep moving on. Because there's a bigger goal. There's a bigger goal in mind now. And now that I have a bigger goal in mind for her and her, her younger brother, I'm like, all right, cool. I feel a motivation. You know what I'm saying? There's a motivation in me. And I think it sparked a little fire in me to make a couple things happen. So, you got to do what you got to do. You got to do what you got to do. And it still hits me hard. It definitely still hits me hard. I actually missed her memorial, unfortunately, due to work. And it had me at that point with like, fuck, I hate working for people. But you know what I'm saying? But like outside of that, it's all good. Not to say life goes on, because her memory is never going to be forgotten. But in the memory of her, just got to keep pressing on and keep moving on. Let's see here. But yeah, so glad you see the improvement, Joe. Glad you see the improvement. And we're, try and kick it into higher gear, because I know I was definitely mopey last episode.
Deservedly so,
But I'm back in full effect. But yeah, so we'll go into another we'll go to another sponsor. So this episode was also sponsored by Diamond Souls. Diamond Souls is where your customized shirts are made easy, from tees to sweatshirts, water bottles, and vinyl. Diamond Souls is your go-to customization shop. Owners Dante and Jordan will bring your vision to reality, providing nothing but quality. Find them on Facebook and Instagram at _Diamond Souls, and let them create something special for you. They actually have this past, for Black History Month, they had a special edition Black History Month shirt that sold out pretty well. And I know Jordan and Dante are coming out with a couple other new things for their line. So definitely check them out at Diamond Souls. Some great shirts. I think I'll wear their shirt next week. They sent me a nice little shirt. It's so soft. So soft. I think those are the things like I cherish now. Like nice, simple things, but are like nice and soft that I can put through like the washing machine a couple times and then not get all like messed up and frayed on me. But
it's funny when you get older, the things that you really cherish.
Oh my, I'm telling you, like it was funny. So like, the dad Nikes, like they call them the Nike Monarchs, the whites with the blue. I'm about to rock the fuck out of those. I was like, you know what? I tried on a pair. I was like, oh, let me see what those are comfortable as shit. I said, it's crazy. And back to your thing, like when we get older, the things that we find comfort and ease in and liking to. I never thought at like 35 I'd be so interested into like my feet feeling better, into like certain shoes, and like what? Oh man, it's amazing. The older we get, the things we find pleasures into. Like I enjoy watching HGTV now. So like that, like I love it.
When your feet feel better, your whole body feels better.
It's the simple things. It's the simple things in life, I tell you. Oh shit. You know what would make me feel better? When Connecticut finally passes this legalization law.
I don't know what this state is waiting for. All the poor states do it that want to get out of poverty. I'm surprised. Like, it's so funny. You look at like Alabama and Kentucky. They're not doing it. They're not doing it because it would, God would hate it and Jesus would freak out. But you look at states like Colorado and Oregon and California, everywhere
Virginia.
they're doing it, dude, everywhere they're doing it, the states are rolling in the dough. They've got money for days. Connecticut's got a big budget problem. Mismanagement for years of the teachers union, the CBACs, whatever the hell they call it. Legalize the weed.
Thank you.
Collect the taxes. Colorado paid for their phenomenal education system without cracking into the budget at all, just spending up the weed money.
And I promise you, and that's literally everybody supporting the teachers. Even the teachers supporting the teachers. Everybody's, not to say everybody smokes weed, but everybody smokes. I'm sorry. Like Connecticut, and it sucks when you're a rich broke or a rich broke state. Like all these other states are just like Virginia and like all these things outside of like California, they were just broke. Now they're rich. And we're over here we've been broke rich for shit, I don't know, 20 plus years. And when I say broke rich is like literally we're like the third richest state, like as far as wealth wise, like not like state financially, but like money like coming into this. Like we have the most like richest people in a state, like in a state, but our budget is like financially fucking poor, if that makes sense. So welcome to Connecticut, folks. So to this though, Governor Lamont released his plan for legalization of marijuana. And honestly, at first I wasn't too like excited about it, primarily because it totally missed the mark on getting people out on low on minor drug convictions. Jesus, Robert, you speak much. But the three major components though were decriminalization, regulation, and generating revenue. 5 years ago, for anybody that's not familiar with the state of Connecticut, they passed a law that possession of less than a half ounce was just an infraction, and really outside of that, like if you have a less than a half an ounce, they're not even like ticketing or anything like that. But so they did a decriminalization bill or law. But like you said, this could lead and generate a lot of revenue for the state. So I'm kind of like I don't understand why this hasn't gone by.
Because there are people out there that don't know the difference between marijuana and crack and crank and fucking uppers.
But they do.
No, they don't. I know. Listen, this is so stupid. I know lots of Republicans. I've had conversations where I'm like, nah, I've never smoked pot, but I've heard it's really good. And they're like, yeah, it's a gateway drug. And next thing you know, you're living on the street. Like they believe that shit.
That's crazy.
They truly believe that marijuana is for like degenerates. It is.
But it's their wives that's smoking it and eating it when the kids are gone or going to sleep or going to band camp for a week.
Right. They just don't know. I'm telling you, they just don't know. If they knew how good people say marijuana is,
they correlate it to the streets. That's what it is. They correlate it to the streets. I don't want to hear, and that's what a lot of Republicans are saying. Oh, it's a health concern and all that other bullshit. But like, it's not. 60 for an eighth, 50 plus $10 tax. I mean, yeah, if you want to
like JT's dealing on the show here. What are you doing? What is this, a menu?
Saying, I'm not paying $60 for an eighth. But and then also I didn't like the fact. I mean, I'm not paying $60 for an eighth. But I also didn't like the fact that they made it so you couldn't. It still doesn't say anything about growing. So it's like that's bullshit. Like if you're gonna make it like legal, I should be able to grow my own shit, not just fucking have to pay your fucking. Your crazy ass tax $60 for an eighth. But then again, I mean, motherfuckers go to Massachusetts all the time and pay $60 for an eighth anyways. So it is what it is. But still, people are going to pay. And honestly, like that for, what I mean? I don't know. It's still going to generate revenue. I don't know what they're waiting on. Everybody's saying that, the health, well, not everybody, a lot of the Republicans are debating health. They're saying that there's so many medical marijuana health tragedies. And literally I went to go do research and I couldn't find near one.
The day Colorado legalized marijuana, there was an article, right-wing media, mind you, like 20, they had said like 20 people overdosed. And as anybody who knows dick about shit, that's not a thing. You don't OD on marijuana.
You can only get so high and then you just go to sleep.
Yes, then you just fall asleep and you wake up really hungry the next day.
Really hungry and like, why did I smoke so much? Like, literally, I've never OD'd on weed. Never OD'd on weed. I've definitely fallen asleep.
Came close a few times, but
I've thrown up. I don't, but even then, I can't even
really
say it because of the weed. So like,
yeah,
I was on like
it's probably from whatever you were snacking on.
No, I was gonna say, I think it was probably a mix of like road food. Cause like this is a story. I was traveling, I got out the military. I was driving back to Connecticut from getting out. And I stopped at one of my boys' houses en route, back to Connecticut. And we were like, hey, I'm out, smoke-a-thon. I think it was a mix of, because I wasn't drinking, but it was a mix of like so tobacco leaf, paper, tobacco leaf, bong. So like all those mixtures, like I found myself like super like high, and then I went outside and I had to yak. And outside of that, I was good. But it could have just been, like when you're just like back and back to back to back to back to back to back. Yeah. Greening out ain't OD. And see, there you go. But, and then that's the other thing. Like a lot of people were talking about, well, the black market is going to go higher. No, stupids. The black market doesn't go higher if the state goes higher. The black market, actually, you guys keep the fucking black market at a level playing field because they're trying to still locate. If anything, the black market is going to go cheaper now, which, hey, is all good. But then again, it opens up so many doors. Like, how many business, well, you can't even say that because now, well, that's the debate because they're saying, well, three things. They're saying, one, if they go ahead and legalize, one of the other things with the Republicans is if they go ahead and legalize, it's going to have a disadvantage to major companies that have anti-drug policies like Sikorsky, like Electric Boat, and all those companies. Anybody that's unfamiliar with those names, Sikorsky builds like plane engines and all that shit for the government and like all that stuff. So does Pratt & Whitney, EB. They have the contract for the government building submarines and all that other shit, right? So they were saying that because of these contracts, they won't be able to hire because their drug policies, and that's going to push them out of the state and all this other shit. And then they're also saying, as far as like the small businesses, it's going to be at a disadvantage, but I think they're trying to work that where the small businesses can sell like edibles and like beverages and stuff like that without actually selling flour, because the threshold that you actually have to have, that you're going to have, or like the capital that you're going to have to actually open and get the licenses and shit like that. So it's like, they're like, well, it's going to be bad for the small businesses and it's all this other shit. And it's just like, you guys set the rules. First and foremost, the first people that should have any kind of like first dibs should be anybody that was locked up for a weed case. Yeah. Because guess what? Only person that I want running a weed business are people that actually know how to run a weed business. And you can't say that they don't know how to run a weed business if they got caught. They just didn't know how to fucking dodge the feds or whatever the case may be. They know how to run a fucking business. Y'all just fucking put the law under them.
Is this for real that they're worried about people not going to work due to them? Again, this is what I'm talking about. People are smoking marijuana now, and then they go to work for you. But some of your employees, hold up. Some of your employees are already high now. I don't know what you think is going to happen if they legalize it. I mean,
because they won't be able to pass a drug test.
But they're passing the drug test
test
now.
now. Exactly.
They're already passing your fucking drug tests.
They already know how to get around it.
Almost everybody I know either smokes pot on the regular, smokes pot occasionally, or will smoke pot if they see it.
Facts.
That's anybody and everybody I know. Everybody.
And it's just like, and Frank
And
even said it right.
You're right. It's
worse
safer than alcohol. 1,000,000%.
So if we're going by that standard, then maybe we need to abolish alcohol.
We're not abolishing anything. Nothing's being abolished. Again,
I don't drink.
This is what happens when fucking tools like Lamont. You think that fucking stiff's ever smoked weed? I'm sure he's fucking pounded an 8-ball or two in his.
He's definitely smoked weed. Everybody has smoked weed. I promise you.
I don't think.
Smoked weed.
I don't think Ned Lamont's not a pot smoker. Ned Lamont looks like he might have pounded an 8-ball or two.
No, he doesn't smoke weed now, but he definitely has smoked weed.
Now,
if he's done an 8-ball,
much of a square. Weed. No, dude, I know people. I always thought that was true. Like, if you do other drugs, you had to smoke pot. I know a lot of people that are like, oh, no, pot's weird. Like, I don't really like that. They went right to the other stuff.
No. Coke is
weird. Coke is weird. Shit.
That's weird. That was the worst 15 minutes of my life and never
Dude,
again.
One of my best buddies some years ago was a giant cokehead. And he was like, man, how could you smoke pot? And I'm like, how could you blow that shit up your nose?
And I didn't even sniff it. I gummed it. I went like this.
Bro, your brain is like right here. Your brain's like 3 inches up. Why would you? Oh,
worst 15 minutes of my life. Like, why? I literally, after I came down, I said, why? Why would you want to? And once again, this was like when I was like 18, 19 years old. So like, don't try and kill me for it. Tried it once and never again. The bootleggers made some good booze. Hell yeah, they still do to this day.
Yeah,
I don't want no fucking commercial shine. Nah, give me that fucking shine that's in that damn water jug bottle. That's the shine I fucking want. Fuck out of here. But yo, they're missing out though. But back to your point, they're worried that people will start smoking and they won't be able to pass drug tests, or they're worried that they won't apply for certain positions because. But then at that point, like, it's weed. You know how many people are, like we said, you know how many people are still smoking
so listen,
now and
you wanna,
passing your drug test?
Everybody wants to win here. Stop fucking testing for marijuana.
Exactly.
You legalize weed, you test for the other shit, you leave marijuana alone, and then it's a win-win.
And you treat the same if somebody comes to work drunk, you send them home.
Weed is nice. Nobody's staying home all day to smoke weed.
That's just boring. I did that shit on vacation before, and I was like, what am I doing?
After a couple of rounds of the weed, you're like ready for a nap, or you're like, shit, can I go to work or something?
Gotta do something?
Gotta do something with your time. You people don't understand potheads.
Not at all.
You don't understand potheads. I'm telling you, the same people who think that liberals live in their mom's basements are the same people who think that they're down there because they smoke weed all day. Just not the reality of it.
Sorry, folks. Sorry. Y'all be all right. So Connecticut, come on. Virginia's already passed it. Jersey's Virginia's ahead of us. I didn't expect Virginia to be ahead of us. And I think, and the shitty part about this is I think they're going to go ahead and just use the whole, we haven't figured out how to make things right with those that got convictions and shit like that. They're trying to, there's going to be some bullshit with it. So hopefully they figure this shit out quick, fast, in a hurry. Because we're missing out on money, missing out on revenue. It's not, I'm sorry.
Actually, when we have the problems that we have financially in this state, I mean, again, if your objection is the moral angle of it, you're an idiot. You just don't know anything about it.
Not at all. Not enough. So, hey, to all my 420ers, we up and it's stuck.
Final thought. There was a CNN did this a few years ago. This was hilarious. They recruited a bunch of people, like young black dude, young white girl, older white lady, middle-aged white dude, couple of Asians, and Rob. They got these people at an indoor, not an indoor track, but at like a controlled track, and they had a cop with a gun and he's not with a radar gun. I mean, his job was to watch them drive around, and he would pull them over when they were no longer following the rules of the road.
Yep.
So everybody smokes a joint. They get in the car, all the way around the thing, around again, around again, around again, around again, and then finally they start pulling some people over. All right, yeah, there was this one guy, Rob, who went around the track like 20 times, and they interviewed him afterwards, and they were like, "How did you do it?" And he was like, "Man," he's like, "I showed up fucking stoned." And the cop was like, "Dude, that guy drove around literally, Rob, like 25 laps," and the cop was watching him, and he was like, "I wouldn't pull that guy over."
Most sober person.
That guy is driving perfect over and over again.
That's crazy. And
there's a big difference, dude. I mean, literally, from the smallest little chick that was doing it to the super fun the dude. I was like, dude, I was high when I got here.
When I got here.
They thought maybe a couple of laps and they'd pull everybody over, and it was at least double digits or more for even the old lady.
That's crazy.
The impairment of alcohol, I think everybody knows you shouldn't drink and drive. It fucks your perception up, your depth perception, your reflexes. It's bad.
Yeah.
Marijuana, on the other hand, it doesn't do any of those things, especially if you're smoking, from what I've heard, like a sativa.
Facts. You know what I'm saying?
Like an upper, like a little bit of a little more peppy at the wheel.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just like,
I read that. I don't know.
All I'm saying is, from what I hear, even if you're an avid smoker, right, the high isn't even like this. Like, the high isn't the same. Like, so fuck it. So like for me, I'm a medicinal guy. I have my routine, and it's not the same effect if I didn't, like, that high is not the same effect as if I didn't smoke, right? Like, people that smoke know, like, if you smoke one piece, you're high. If you're an avid smoker, that high isn't the same as if you smoke the first time, or if you smoke maybe once every blue moon. That same effect isn't the, you know what I mean? The effect isn't the same. That's what I was saying, the tolerance level. So like, it's super different. Not to say that, like, so for me, like, you literally have to be smoking just to sit there and say, "Oh, I'm trying to smoke to get dumb." And even when you smoke that much, like, you're not trying to do shit. Like, I don't know too many people that are like, "Let me get super stoned and let me go drive."
Well, listen, you're not going to stab your grandmother to death to get weed money.
Facts. Or you're not sucking dick to get weed money. So
no,
I'm sorry, but
exactly. There's some level of respect that goes along with being a pothead.
But it's big revenue to be made. I don't think that we'll ever, not to say ever, but I don't even think under the Biden administration it's gonna end up like ending the weed prohibition. I think he's just gonna literally keep letting the states take care of that, and then eventually, like, it's just gonna just die out, or it's just gonna stay the same way. I don't know. I don't think federally it's gonna come by in Biden's first term, if he has another term. I think the Republicans are gonna kill that, because I'm still, and maybe you can educate me on this. I'm still lost. So there was something that, like, the Republicans, it was like the student, what was it, the student loan bill or some shit? Yeah. And like, they didn't get that passed. I thought like this was supposed to be like the Dems fucking time to like pass everything. And obviously the Senate isn't passing everything the way like these people thought. So like, what's the big gripe and complaint? Apparently like all this shit isn't really getting passed as much as they thought, because they're not getting the votes. But I thought like this was supposed to be like they won the Senate. The Dems won the Senate, and everybody was scared that they were just going to get, like, everything was just going to get passed through. But obviously we're seeing that that's not true.
Let me tell you something, not for nothing. Obama's first 2 years in office, they had a super majority. I mean, they actually had 60 votes in the Senate. They could have done anything they wanted to in Obama's first 2 years, including healthcare, and they didn't do jack shit. And they basically waited until the Republicans rather, took the House and then eventually flipped the Senate. And then Obama couldn't get anything done other by executive order. So we've seen where one party has the super majority. It's happened with Republicans in during the Bush years, where again they have they could do anything they want. They don't do anything. So it's so weird. It's like there's no one stopping you from passing your most
prominent fucking bill.
Yeah, whatever your like top goal was, go for it. Like get the vote going. And they're not doing it.
I don't know. Like I think I said this on the body. We're saying they're spread super thin. They can't put a lot of eggs in certain baskets. You know, it's little by little, and we'll see. But I'm starting to get to the point where I'm like, all right, y'all, what the fuck are y'all doing? Or even not even say that, just like less interested into like hearing what they have to say or what they're doing. Like, stop telling me and just put the action into play, right? Like, I'm sick of just hearing what y'all are gonna do. Just do it already. Like, stop talking about what you're gonna do and just do it. Do I regret voting for them? No, because literally I wake up every day with a peace of mind, super peace of mind, that like there's something going right with our country. It might not be all the way right, but it's something better than the past 4 years. Some states might sue against it. Against what?
I think he's referring to marijuana, and that wouldn't work. You can't sue another state.
What? See, and this goes back to, well,
I think that's what
I don't want to
means.
assume that's what he's talking about.
Maybe he's talking about something else. I don't know.
I don't know. Whatever. Send context. Conservatives need context.
Because by that note, wouldn't Indiana sue Chicago? I mean, wouldn't Chicago sue Indiana for all the illegal guns?
Some states might sue against. I don't know. An executive order. Oh, okay.
No.
All right. Anyways,
you can't. What do you mean sue for an executive order? I don't even get that.
I think he's talking about just an executive order in general. If he does. Anyways, we're talking about weed, bro.
I don't know. Yeah,
okay. He's replying.
No, the president can't sign an executive order to legalize marijuana.
Yeah, like no. See, and there we go. And that's that mindset.
But also, I don't believe Joe Biden is pro marijuana. Again, I mean, it seems sort of dumb, but that people are like, well, he's a Democrat for weed, right? No, he's 800 years old, and he's less of a liberal than most of you guys are.
Facts.
So
he's way more centralist than actually liberal. He just fell under the Democratic Party. That was the party
if you look at his rating based on his voting record, they've actually got him literally more right wing than Donald Trump is.
And we're not forgetting, like, let's not forget that at first Trump didn't even want to align with the Republican Party in his earlier years. So like you align with the people where you feel you can get most shit done with, right?
Well, again, if you want to be successful and you want to be involved and you want to get power in New York City, I mean,
there you go.
Democrats run the show there. You definitely want to be a Democrat. Makes more sense.
So yeah. So and that's the other difference. Like we can sit there and pick apart those things, even if it's the person that we voted for. The other side can't. They can't sit there and say, hey, this is fucked up, or they can't analyze and really evaluate their leader, or even criticize them. I wonder why that is, why they can't like criticize their own leader. But anyways, that's neither here nor there.
Cult status is why.
Cult status. Huh. Makes sense. All right. Well, we'll get into our last before we close out. Me and the Bees. Our last sponsor for the night.
Love them bees.
When I was 4.5 years old, I got stung by 2 bees in 1 week. As you can imagine, I was really afraid of the bees because I was afraid that I was going to get stung again. My dad taught me about the bees themselves, and I found out that they were important. So I was like, if the bees are this important and they were declining and they were dying, then maybe I should help save them. So I decided to create a business. I started selling lemonade. And I wanted to donate a portion of the proceeds to organizations that were working hard to save the honeybees. People didn't really take me seriously because I was a kid. I definitely didn't know what it took to get my company into stores. I just knew that I wanted to. So my dad taught me about marketing and how to make sure that you're getting income. It smells really good. I would say it's important to ask for some guidance along the way. Find your people. Find people who are willing to support you and to mentor you as you grow, because even adults need help too. We have definitely grown a lot since having to squeeze lemons from a little press in my kitchen. Now I'm a national product that is sold in natural grocers around the country. Knowing that I'm making a difference has inspired me to keep on going.
Bet. There we
That is
have
so
it.
cute. I love that.
I love it. And her lemonade's so fucking good. Like her teas and lemonades is so good. That ginger lemonade is fucking phenomenal. I'm mad I haven't had one in like 3 days. I got to go tomorrow and go get some before I go to work. But yeah, definitely go check out Michaela and her lemonade at Me and the Bees. I love her. I love her. She's awesome. I really want to I gotta reach out to them, see if we can get a sponsorship or something. Like, I don't even care. Like, that's awesome. So yeah, I think that's gonna be it for this week. Nice, easy week on everybody. Just had to get a couple things off my chest. While I close out with final words, I've been thinking about taking myself back to the casino a little bit. I love the craps table. And like I've been like trying to like figure out like what I can do like to kind of like get away for a little bit. Not like for a long time, but like kind of get back into like society. And I was like, I might try the casino soon. And go back to the craps table because my dad taught me how to play craps. And I want to say I only like walked away negative one time with him. But yeah, he definitely taught me how to play craps. That's one of the things. Like I can go to the casino instead of the craps table for like 5 hours and be good. And make like $150 work for like 5 hours and come out positive for the most part. So I've been looking at a couple different strategies and trying to, between like my investment game and like my strategy game, I've been, putting a couple things into play and ready to work those out at the casino. So we'll see what Mohegan has to offer me. Do you have a casino preference, or are you not a casino guy?
It's funny. The last time I went to the casino, I did what you did there. I had $150. I went and played some blackjack, and I was out in 6 hands.
Whew. See, that
was shitty. I was like 150. We'll sit, we'll hang out, we'll play for a few hours. And like an asshole, I went to a $25 a hand table.
Jeez, that's
dude.
Why.
6 hands tap. Like, all right.
See, put me at
hang out at the free buffet.
$5. Put me at the $5 table, craps table, and I'm there for a little bit. Unless I start like going crazy with some of my bids. Like I'll start feeling like 12 is about to come out, and I'll 50 on here or 25 on here, and like nope.
There was a game called Chuck-a-Luck or Chuck Your Luck or some shit. It was 3 dice in a cage.
Okay.
And you could bet on what the roll was going to be. You could like, I'm going to put 100 on 3s.
Yeah.
And if a 3 came up, you won. Huh. If 3 3s came up, like it would triple you, and that crazy. Game, that's the one thing that I've ever done. I don't even remember which of the casinos. It might even have been what's the shitty one, Mohegan or Foxwoods?
See, I don't know. Maybe
Foxwoods like the shittier one.
No, Mohegan. I guess people say Mohegan is because Foxwoods has more of the high end shit. But I love Mohegan. I love Mohegan.
In my mind, it's backwards.
I don't know. Maybe
but I don't. What do I know? I don't know. I've only been a handful. I only really go to concerts and gotcha. I don't really go to gamble because I'm not good at it. But I did play this Chuck-a-Luck game once. I forget which casino it was. Played for about 4 or 5 hours. I made about $800.
There you go.
That was the my only successful gambling endeavor that I've ever had.
My biggest takeaway was about 3,200, and I was on a cruise ship. And
That's
then
dope.
you want to know what my ignorant black ass did? So it was a cruise. So we took a family cruise after my dad passed away, kind of like just get us away. It was a Christmas to like New Year. So like I think we got on like the boat Christmas Eve, and it went all the way to like January 1st. So we had New Year's Eve on the boat. So like the day prior or the night prior to the New Year's Eve party, I was at the craps table with an old head, an OG, and he was putting me on game, and like me and him ran that table. Like I started with like 250, and I ended up with like 32. I ended up throwing like 350. So I ended up changing 350 of that into ones. I had a fake Louis Vuitton backpack that I had got in like one of the islands or whatever, and I went into the club. And what did I do? You guessed it. I stood on the top floor of the club while everybody was dancing, and I made it rain a whole bunch of ones because I thought I was big shit, Joe.
Yeah, you got to.
Like, I was like literally that, like, so that whole week, whenever like me and my family go somewhere, we tend to be like the life of the party. So like from the time, have you ever been on a cruise before, Joe?
I've never gone on a cruise.
Okay, so like when you go on a cruise, the Lido deck is like where the party's always at. Everybody goes to the party on the Lido deck. When you first get on the ship, that's where the first party is. So like me and my family, we love the party. So like we're out there drinking on a dance floor when not too many people were on there having a good time. So we kind of built like that family fun reputation right on the cruise. So like people were trying to like hang out with us and shit like that. So like we were, not to say we were the it people, but we were one of the super fun families, right? So like wherever me and my sister especially went, like Rob D da 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 da, you know what I'm saying? So it was cool. So like that point, I really felt like a baller because like I was able to. So Pete, there weren't like VIP sections or anything like that. So like, but we were able to like block off a whole section for like our whole crew. So like all the kids, like the younger crowd, my mom and her crowd, that they clicked up together, and we just took over that whole like VIP section, made our own VIP area. People were like trying to hang out with us. I got us all bottles, and it was crazy. It was fun. Super, super fun. We were able to bring in, so like on a cruise, you can buy like all this booze and shit like off the boat, on the boat and everything, but you can't open none of those bottles until like you get off. But because it was New Year's Eve, they were letting people get like 1 or 2 bottles that they had purchased, like the tax-free bottles. I was able to bring like mad of our bottles in, and like we didn't have to pay for like none of the extra drinks from the club and everything. Like I got in good with the bouncers and shit like that. Like it was super dope. So like when we left, I just felt like the man because everybody's like, yeah, I got some of the money now. I was like, yeah, it felt dope. It was a baller moment for a minute. So that was my biggest hit on the craps table.
It's impressive.
Oh yeah, we were on that table for I think like 6.5, 7 hours. Like I literally they actually held the table open. They were supposed to close the table at 3. We didn't get off the table until like 7 that morning.
Damn.
So they stayed because we were just fucking hitting. You know what I mean? We would lose a little bit, but then go ahead and hit back a lot more. Yeah. It was at one point I was probably up about 50, 54, 52, 54. And then I started like thinking I was big shot balling, and my bets got way too expensive.
That happens, doesn't it? You start doing well, and then that's when it all falls to shit.
Oh yeah. We got to do a when all this shit gets together, we got to do I'll pitch you off shortly cruise when we get big and bad. Where, you know what I'm saying, when we're doing millions of listeners a week. I always wanted to hit like the Tom Joyner cruise. The Tom Jordan Morning Show cruise.
Yeah, listen, I'm down. It's not that I don't. My wife was a cruiser person. My wife's been a cruise. She's done cruises in her life. My family just isn't. They just weren't a cruise family.
Got you.
You know, because the Jersey Shore doesn't have cruises. Mostly is why that is.
Just leave out of New York. That's what we did.
Yeah, not a lot of ships are setting sail from Cape May.
Well, y'all got your own ships in Cape May.
Yeah.
But I think that's pretty much it. Other than I was gonna hit on the market real quick. Just discuss how how this market has kicked a bunch of people's ass, and then the whole reason why I say don't invest before you know what you're investing in and knowing how to invest. So yeah, make sure you guys are. Hey, the market is starting to rebound, but things are on sale still. I tell everybody all the time, just because the market is red doesn't mean that it's a bad thing. That just means whenever you see red, that means clearance. That means all these smart businesses are on sale, right? So like, and I put it this way, right? I heard this great analogy a while ago, and I'll pass it on. If Gucci, Louis Vuitton, Nike, all these brands had a clearance sale for like 30-40% off, would you buy as a consumer? If your answer is yes, then why not go ahead and buy into something that's going to make you money while you sleep? We go ahead and buy all these intangible items that don't give us any kind of value, that don't return any kind of equity to ourselves. So if you really care about growing your financial wealth, educate yourself, do your due diligence, don't be scared of the red. The red means clearance for a reason. So if you would go ahead and buy these same companies or buy their products when they're on sale, go ahead and buy these companies while they're on sale. While the Apples, while the AMDs, while the Microsofts, while the Teslas, all these companies are literally on sale at 25-30% off. It's a no-brainer. 10-15% off some of these companies. So like, this is the time. So do your due diligence. Don't let the red scare you. If you're pulling out for a wrong reason, because I definitely made some money on the rebound today and I'm back plus some. So be smart, do your due diligence. Make sure you guys are visiting us at clovercrestmedia.com/I'll piss you off shortly. Make sure you guys are following us on all social media platforms, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. We also are going to be on Buy Me a Coffee /IPYOS. Yes, Buy Me a Coffee next week. You will see that. And that's just your way to go ahead and show us support. Buy me and Joe a coffee. And that just says you guys support here. We're going to be actually doing a donation in the next couple of days, because I know a lot of people have said, hey, why don't you grow? I'll piss you off shortly. So the best thing about it is, if we want to grow, we need you guys to help us grow in that form. So I'm going to start it off with a nice donation, and then, try and get some equipment. The first kind of like fundraiser is going to be for getting us a Rodecaster Pro audio board, so we can give you guys a better audio experience, get you some sound clips, get you some song playing, get you some live calls in. So yeah, do that. You guys support us. We support you guys with this great content. Outside of that, make sure you guys go ahead and show us some love at Cash App, # I'll piss you off shortly. You guys can check us every Monday night at 9 p.m. Also check us out on Facebook, Instagram, where I put up content from time to time. Definitely will be engaging more now. So yeah, appreciate you guys listening as always. For Rob Benjamin, Joe Aguirre, this is I'll piss you off shortly. You guys have a good night. Peace.
I'm gonna get it right one day. Hey, remember how many times you used to do the messages for your voicemail? It goes something like this. What's going on, everyone? Thanks for locking into another episode of I'll Piss You Off Shortly. This is the podcast where we debate everyday issues, pushing your thought process beyond what's normal. The topics discussed here are meant to be intense, promote growth, and at times may have you feeling a little bit uncomfortable. Me too, a little bit. We may not always agree, and we will more than likely have varied opinions. But with that being said, I can't promise to be your favorite podcaster. Neither do I want to. But I can promise to be transparent, fair, and open-minded. So please, if you think you've got the stamina, passion to debate, analyze, and challenge the normal, please take a number. I promise you, I'll piss you off shortly. Hey, mama.